Good day, good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome in, everybody. Chat 10 Sports Live on this Tuesday night. Obviously, just a big old belly sigh of what we saw from the Tennessee Titans last year. Yeah, but welcome into everybody. We'll get to the Tennessee Titans. We will probably be focusing and reacting predominantly to the two-tone blue tonight. Sorry, we were just joking about doing some mouth warm-ups. I can't say the words out. But welcome in. Chat 10 Sports, chat10.com in case you don't know who we are. Also, this QR code, if you screenshot, you tap that in your photo app, it will take you, over here. It'll take you to the actual website, and you can see our link tree, everything from socials, YouTube. Make sure and follow us, be a part of the community. And two, last night, hard night for the Tennessee Titans. However, it was a wonderful night for the Chattanooga Titans fans. Had an incredible night. Heather Jennings at Fee Table and Tavern in downtown Chattanooga. Side note, if you've never gone or if you visit Chattanooga, check out Fee Table and Tavern. Incredible food, atmosphere, the whole 9 yards. But had a great spread. I mean, decorations to the nine. Brian Hager, obviously our entire Chattanooga Titans fans community showing up big. But Chase, let me get your thoughts. How was last night for you outside of the game? And then we can kind of move slowly into the hard part of the night.
Yeah. Last night was really fun, man. I love the setup. I've only been back there one or two times. Really great setup. Our girl Heather just treated us fantastic.
Chilling.
Got your own little bar set up back there at Feed. You got, had the cookout version. I mean, it was a beautiful night in East Tennessee too. You could not have beat it. Even though it was a sad night, I will say I had a nice ride home on a bike and took care of, we had a good time, just a couple cold beers, a couple dogs, a couple burgers. It was a good day. It was a good day for everybody as far as the outside of watching sports factor.
Right. Well, It's interesting because I feel that first drive, and I will say one of the positives that we can take away from the first two games is the Titans have come out of the gate quick. It seemed that they wanted to play for the first drive or two. Obviously, that didn't last very long. So, Chase, I'm just to tear it wide open, man. As far as where are we as the Tennessee Titans, the first question that came to my mind after last night is how good are the Bills and how bad are the Tennessee Titans? So I want to softball lob that up to you and tell me your thoughts because to me, as we knew, I drafted Josh Allen with my first pick in my fantasy league. The Bills coming out of last year, week one seemed to have hit the ground running. But how good are the Bills, Chase? I mean, are we legitimately looking at probably the Super Bowl favorite right now?
Well, I would say it's kind of a no-doubter, honestly. Looking around the league, you look in the NFC and you might have saw the best team on the other side in the Eagles in the NFC, but the Bills were as advertised. It was hard for me at the beginning of the year to just get behind that whole wagon of this is the best team in the league, no doubt about it. From a team that lost last year, you had Vaughn, great job. But at that point, you knew Vaughn was good, but he also played with Aaron Donald. He had such a stacked line last year. Maybe he's getting a little bit older. Proved wrong. Proved wrong again because, I know Diggs got some favorable matchups last night against the Tennessee Titans corners that, it's kind of hard to dictate how great he is because of that, but the guy's amazing. That's one of the best 1-2 punches in the NFL. Definitely top 3 or 4 by far when it comes to wide receiver and quarterback combo. They dominated the Titans from start to finish. Well, I'll say not start to finish because I thought the Tennessee Titans had a really good first drive. And after that, man, they took off in ways that I can't even describe because they were just so dominant and the Titans were so pitiful.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What did you think so far?
Well, I feel kind of like facepalm for the sake of the fact that we believed the hype about this team and we knew the issues. We knew we lost A.J. Brown. We were obviously believing, just like we do every time of this year, Julio Jones is going to kill it this year for us. Jadeveon Clown is going to sack everybody 10 times, like all that stuff. Obviously, the rumor after last night, obviously losing Harold Landry, but the rumor being that Lewan is feared to have lost. We could lose Lewan for the year with a potential. It would be an ACL of some sort, I would assume. But that's just something for me, in my opinion. I think we might have seen the last of Taylor Lewan. That's obviously hard. And it seemed that everything went wrong from offense, defense, special teams, from picks just to lackluster play. I think Tannehill, that picture's going around of Vrabel and Tannehill and Todd Downing,
What a trio right now.
Well, that's the hot seats in Nashville. But I will say it feels this team is about to go through a massive change. Like we're saying, that Tannehill, regardless of what he does this year, is going to be the guy in 2023. Lewan's most likely gone. We're seeing changes left and right, obviously. And I feel like there's almost a Tennessee Titans onion if we're going to peel back the issues, because you can't catch punts. The one thing that we did well last night consistently was Stonehouse and just booming the ball. And that was it, which we've all known for a long time when Brett Kern was the MB punter. So, I want to make sure that we just kind of get our ducks in a row. But if you're watching with us too, I did want to give a shout out to Steven Sunny here. Good evening from Houston. The whole AFC South is weird already. 2 games in. They didn't waste They didn't waste time. But Chase, let's continue the conversation. I mean, to the AFC South, we talked about it last week with Paul Koharski. I think, what was it this morning? I put a tweet out just looking at the AFC South. I think it's 1-5-2 for the record for the division.
Yeah.
What? not what we were anticipating.
And no doubt about it, the Jags and the Texans have looked the best.
Yeah.
I mean, Russ somehow pulled that one out of his ass. I'll be honest. The Broncos aren't very good. They've not figured it out. They might become good, but they've still got a ways to go. But the Texans played pretty solid. They got some turnovers. They did good things. And on Sunday was an absolute madhouse for games anyways. That was one of the funnest days because our boy Mike Herndon tweeted out, it's kind of nice, like not having that Titans pressure on a Sunday.
That's stress, yeah.
And I got to just sit there, being around here, I kind of like the Falcons to watch a little bit, even good, bad, it doesn't matter. You're going to watch them. So I, had the Falcons game up with the 425 stuff. And then I just had Red Zone pretty much the whole time throughout the early slate. And I thought,
so your Sunday was pretty
good. Dude, couching it hard.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent too much money on this guy, but it's so wonderful. And I'm going to use that bad boy. And it's fantastic. But anyways, just a crazy day. And the Jaguars, one of the best showings.
Mm-hmm.
They looked good, and the Colts are awful, and the Titans looked maybe as bad. I know you're playing a much better team, but as Steven said, like this AFC South, so weird because now the Jags sitting in the driver's seat
are the team. And I want to keep Steven's comment up here just because for the sake of context, I mean, a lot of things can change from here on out. Obviously, there is a ton of football to left, but we thought we'd be 2-0. We thought we would be, licking our chops for the Raiders. And now I'm sitting here thinking that Devontae Adams is going to do what Stephon Diggs did. But we'll talk about that Thursday for our preview for the weekend. But looking back on the night, I mean, I just feel after, a minute left in the third quarter, starters are coming out. It's something that right now, and in light of that comment with the AFC South, the Tennessee Titans, and I'll throw this out there, maybe you guys can tell me your opinions on it. I feel the Tennessee Titans' playoff opportunity and playoff chances have diminished significantly since last night. Because here's the thing. You kind of take a step back from, say it's your life, your job, whatever you have going on. Then you can kind of see things from a bird's eye view. You take the fanhood out. You take the loyalty to this team out. There were really fundamental issues last night from the beginning. And then injuries hit. And then you're saying, where the hell is our depth? Because there has been no depth. And you can start pointing fingers at the coaching staff, which literally everyone is doing. And I did want to throw this up here as well, just to greet everybody. But where do the Titans go from here? I wanted to ask you this, Chase, because I put a tweet up today, and I'm gonna pull it up. I said, at this moment, what moves do the Titans make? What's the move for the Titans in your opinion? I said, write it out was one option. It's only week 2. I don't have a clue, man. Was option number 2. Excuse me. Option 1 was write it out. It's week 2. Option B, I will say, I don't have a clue, man. Option C is fire Downing. And then option D is to sell the farm for picks and just give it up right now. And right now we're looking at 35% of fire Downing.
Yeah. it's got to be a firing or a demoting because you've got Kelly there waiting. There's a perfect scenario for your OC.
Mm-hmm.
But we know Vrabel. And he's not going to do that. He's going to keep his friends. He's going to make sure he's going to stick to the way he is. His stubbornness is a ultimate attribute and ultimate demise all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to shuffle up this offensive line. Daly ain't it, man. I saw Tic Tac Titan today, our boy from Locked On. He talks about why not put Radens out there? Like, I mean, you're not getting any worse. So at least try somebody, shuffle up Nicholas over there on the other side, maybe put Radens over there at the tackle or right tackle spot.
Mm-hmm.
You have so much to use now as far as what the hell else are we going to do? If Lawan is legit out for the rest of the year, this is not confirmed yet, but it is looking that way. I will say, our boy Bass Wales here. He's I don't know if Raves is that guy that calls that.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he does have obviously a lot of impact because this is not just a downing thing. Like the running on first down. I mean, as we were talking last week to Paul Karski, telling us like this is a fundamental thing, and you brought this up, and it was for our boy Mike's article. This is a fundamental Vrabel thing of the way they want this offense at least broadly structured. You know, Downing's calling the plays, Downing's doing this, Downing's doing that. But Vrabel's structure of run the ball on first down, do this, do that. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot to go. I mean, where are you at?
Well, just to touch on what you're saying, I think even last night we saw a lot of first downs where we weren't getting run plays. And it seemed like they were simply just trying to appease, hey, we're going to try this. But like you're saying, the issue, like it's all cyclical to me. There's not receiver options, so no one's a threat outside. They know Kyle Phillips is hurt. They know that Jeff Swaim's your best blocking tight end, so whenever he's in over Hooper,
oh my gosh, our best.
You know what's coming. It doesn't make any sense, and I know Vrabel's usually that guy, one to hide, injuries and to play the poker game. But it felt last night pretty early on in that game that they did not have a clue of what they were doing, of how to attack Josh Allen, of how to stop the muffed punts, the issues where it's just like, guys, you couldn't even get out of your own way, which I'm thankful at the time it did happen when we saw Malik Willis and a lot of the starters sitting. But no, I think you just continue to kind of step back, and I want to pull up a tweet I saw today. I might have to dig for it here in a second, but it went through the entirety of John Robinson's, additions through free agency, additions through the draft, and trying to find it here. And I can come back to it. Oh, here we go. So Jadeveon Clowney, Isaiah Wilson, Darrington Evans, Julio Jones, Caleb Farley's a question mark. Radens is considered a miss right now. Lamb, Monty Rice is a question mark. Des Fitzpatrick is an X, is a miss. Josh Reynolds is a miss. And Hooper and Woods, and Bobby Trees are still question marks to be determined, which I think's pretty okay right now.
Yeah.
But that entirety, the entirety of that, you are literally setting money on fire for the team. Obviously, with Julio, you're giving picks away, valuable picks. Who could be starting on the offensive line if we had the pick to take a player versus what we got for a Julio Jones? To think of the pick that we lost and then the money on top of that. So
lots of money.
Yeah, but I want to go back to foolish boss Wales here saying friends don't win games, good coaching does.
Yes.
Yeah, it's strange because I have a hard time thinking that if you and I were on a coaching staff, if everyone's sitting there pointing the finger at you, that you're the first guy to go, especially after it's the same thing we saw with Bowen. And maybe we have those conversations again because it was the run defense is literally, I think, second worst in the league right now. Maybe second to the Eagles, I think it was. But no, I think you just look at the entirety of the issues. I don't know where to start for them as far as where the team goes, because if that is official news that you're losing Lawan, I'm thinking you make some type of move to help offensive line, because if you can't get Henry going, you are wasting one of the most talented players in this game. And if you can't let him run properly, then you give him up for what you can get out of him and then start rebuilding.
Yeah.
And we know that the days are coming when the Tannehills, the Henrys, the Lawans, they'll all be gone and we'll be on to new players. But, and I think this is a good topic for us to bring up right now that you had a question for, and I'll get your thoughts on it to start and tell us what you think in the chat as well. But have the Tennessee Titans missed their window for the Super Bowl? Because we were saying 2 to 3 years, but it seems like last year we could be waiting a lot longer for what we're talking about. But what are your thoughts? Did they miss their window?
Yeah, and I know last year you did so well with so much adversity that once you got everybody healthy back, that playoff game, you just win that one. Just win that one, give yourself a chance. And I get from the standpoint of whenever you get everybody back, it's a little bit tougher. That's the first time they had everybody was somewhat healthy. I mean, nobody's healthy at the end of the season, let's be honest. But you had everybody together for that playoff game, and it was completely and totally botched. It was a bad way of going out. That was the window, man. You got the number 1 seed somehow, some way with 91 players. You figured it out. It was ugly. And Foolish, we'll get to you in a second on the AJ thing. That's another one today. It just makes it even worse. Seeing him last night. Jesus. But dude, it hurts to see all those things you mentioned, even about the draft and the free agency pickups. But now when the offensive linemen go down, and the fact that you let AJ go, and the fact that you didn't bolster that middle linebacker or that inside linebacking crew. There's no depth there, and Cunningham hasn't played great. So now you're looking at, we didn't add anything over the offseason. What do we do now? Yeah. So the Titans are just in this spot where you set yourself back by not doing what you've been doing. And John Robinson's tenure has been here. He's found small ways to add depth and add strengths whenever this Titans team is a little bit weaker. If you get hurt, he's found somebody to fill in. Dennis Kelly, you find these guys, and heck, even Zach Cunningham and those guys last year, whenever you're looking at Rashard Evans, and they were not very good. And now you got 2 new starting linebackers. You're thinking, we've got our linebacker set. We're good in the middle.
Yeah.
We'll be good up front in our front 7 total, but it's not been the exact case. It's been a little, obviously the front 4, they're good. If Landry was healthy, it'd be a different story. They're not good in the run game. So now everything's been set back because John Robinson and this crew didn't do what they usually do in the offseason, and they actually did. They went back.
They did.
Not adding depth in any position and getting rid of your best player, your second best player, I guess.
Well, see, that's where the conspiracy theory, let's put some tinfoil hats on for just a second. Did the Titans kind of foresee the bottom falling out? Not at this time, but knowing the salary cap situation, knowing the whiffs on picks and free agency, and it's like, look, we're going to give the absolute best thing that we can. And it's one of those things for me. The soft rebuild, and we mentioned this with Paul last week, Paul Koharski, and again, new articles at paulkoharski.com. I read his today, and even Blake Bedingfield giving his thoughts, and incredible breakdown from player group and position and everything. Apparently, Dennis Daly didn't do terrible according to Blake, but we'll see what happens. So if he's the guy at the left side,
hurries in one hit,
Yeah. But all that to say, if we are in a position to start rebuilding, I think now is the prime time. Not that we have to just quit and fold it up or whatever. I just feel that the amount of issues on this team, it's going to be best for everybody just to start from a scratch. Because even Hassan Haskins, Dontrell Hilliard is a guy who's familiar with this team, scheme, everything. But Haskins really doesn't do much for me. He's not very quick. He's got the size. Maybe he can run it, but he's not very dynamic. And I haven't really seen him receive the ball or catch the ball that well or even that much. But not that we've had a ton of opportunities. But golly, man, you just think offensively, is it Downing or is it Tannehill? Or how much in
it's a big 50-50 split.
But how much is offensive line and how much is a lack of depth at receiver? Because Derrick Henry can't be the only guy to sit here and just put the team on his back. And all of a sudden in 2 years or a year really, and he's slowing down where people are now saying he's washed. It's like you can't say a guy's washed when his offensive line can't give him a damn hole to run through.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Okay. So you can fix me wherever you think it's different. But if I were going to take in last night, I mean, overall the season, game one's a little different because the offensive line didn't have to really do a whole lot. I mean,
They
obviously
weren't that bad, but granted, the defense was not that great.
bingo. So for me, if I'm looking at last night, like in a power ranking of shitty things that happened for the Titans, last night the offensive line was number one. And then I think the Downing play call got, my God, if I see another halfback toss to a side with a guy that just is coming in the game, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
Those tosses are atrocious, and everybody on Twitter agrees with me and the world, and it's so bad. And everybody, you could hear our boy Blake. He was just yelling. He's like, "This doesn't work. This doesn't work. It's so bad. It's so bad." And you're putting a guy in Daly in a spot where he has to go out there, and you're in a one-on-one situation most of the time on these swing passes, or not swing passes, these tosses. So I just put him in a bad spot, and he puts our tackles that are not really that experienced in bad spots. We got to quit doing that. So then I'd probably go, I'd say Downing, and I'd say Tannehill, and I'd say the receiving core, because Burks, for what it was, I mean, I know it's not great. I know the stats weren't outstanding. And then Bobby Tree's got one of his long receptions taken back. So the receiving core, I think there is a small potential there. It's definitely a big step back when you lose AJ. But I don't think it's that bad. Hooper had a good catch. I thought that was a really good route he ran. I know that catch was cool, but he ran a really great route. He's not going to do that every time. I think he's lost a step. We'll say that.
Yeah.
But that offensive line has got a lot of worries. And that's one thing you mentioned earlier. It ain't Henry's fault, man. Whenever you can't take a step without having two guys there, what do you do? You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if you have power ranking thoughts of last night.
No, I think I think right now, if this continues, I think we're picking top 10, maybe top 8. And but here's the thing. I feel that this team has had so many setbacks from the Isaiah Wilson pick. Obviously, Raidens, we still don't 100% know, because some people are like, well, he did well last year against, I forget who it was. But everything else has been a negative report from Raidens. That's where I feel that this team, like you look at the Bills, you look at the Chiefs, they are just reloading. And like you just said, they did not do a ton of stuff. And that's where I'm like, did they see it coming? And even too, I want to revisit this comment here. We should have paid AJ instead of franchising Ryan Tannehill. I cannot disagree more, because here's the reality of the situation. Tannehill's days were numbered prior to this offseason. We knew that. We can check that box. Tannehill's not going to be here forever. So do you keep a rookie or a receiver who's very talented on a rookie deal, or extend him for $25 million annual? And that same quarterback that he's going to have continuity with for a season or two, then he's shipping on. Then that's where you have issues with receivers and saying, I'm not getting the ball. You pay me all this money, trade me. My thing is, it stops for me when the whole, we want $25 million, the Titans aren't going to overpay, and we don't know the full truth, because, we're not going to know it. But who went dark? Was it AJ? Was the Titans? That shouldn't even be a question right now, because it doesn't matter. AJ Brown is not here. He's in Philly. So I just want to put that to bed, in my opinion. I don't know if you have anything different from that, but AJ Brown is gone. We got to start moving on. And that's where I really think, again, hyphen, all the asterisks, if this downward trend continues, because the good news is for the Titans, we still don't know what the Raiders are, which we'll talk about Thursday. The Colts are garbage. We don't know what the NFC East Commanders are, which the NFC East is not anything better than the AFC South, aside from having two teams with a winning record. But all that to say, I don't think of all the options that we discussed of, burn the farm or sell the farm and trade picks. I do think, I did tweet this morning, and I want to bring it up. Either you adjust Tim Kelly's impact with the offense now, or you fire Todd Downing. Because at the end of the day, you are wasting Derrick Henry. And that's where I'm just like, guys, I'm not going to be surprised if we see something. I'm not going to be surprised if this is what we have in 8 weeks and we're still having this conversation of how bad this team is. Or who knows, man. We could be on the track for the third round or the third seed or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
So much can happen. But after last night, I think this team is not nearly as good as any of us anticipated. And if moves aren't made quick, it's going to get bad really, really fast.
Yeah.
So,
but the worst part about this is this team could easily win this division.
Easily.
Because you know what? Heading into the bye week, we could legit be, I mean, the Titans could be 4-3.
Right.
You know? And you're like, oh, they won 4 in a row. And I mean, sure, they're against the Colts, Commanders, and Texans and Raiders. But it's 4-3. And then you probably, I think 9 wins gets you the division.
I think it was Chad Withrow today said the winner of the AFC South will have a 7-10 record, which I at this point, seeing how bad this is, and that tie game will be interesting to see if it comes down to to tiebreakers and what that will impact or how that will impact seeding and things like that. But I just feel these teams are,
they're bad, bro.
We're all bad down. But like you said, the Jags, I think Urban Meyer, took a lot of the steam as far as how bad the team was. I think the dysfunction is it's gone now. I think Doug Peterson is doing what he did in Philly and making a new culture. And who knows, man? I just
think
he's
a breath of fresh air. He's a breath of fresh air, and he's a good breath of fresh air. You're not getting next to the chicken plant down here in Chattanooga. You're getting the mountain air. You're getting the good stuff.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Oh, I don't want to stop you. I did want to touch on Steven Snyder's comment about John Robinson and just get your thoughts there. I think I have my opinion, but let me know what you think. Does John Robinson survive this, or does Amy fire him? Vrabel is safe. Super Bowl window is definitely close for now.
I'll say this. Paul mentioned it last week. We're going to get mad at him this season, but Robinson and Vrabes, they're going to be here for a while unless they leave. I don't see how. I mean, you have one pretty bad year. Because it's on the road to be in a pretty bad year. It's on the road, but it could get fixed, and we could all just be whiny little baby back, just for the first 2 games, and it might all turn around. We might make the playoffs, and it's gonna be great. But I don't think that's gonna happen. But I will say there's a chance they make the playoffs, and they can still be a pretty bad team. And Vrabel and John Robinson are gonna be around for a while, so get used to it. What are your thoughts?
As far as the comment here, I will agree the Super Bowl window is closed.
The Super Bowl window,
Yeah, I think Vrabel and Robinson are both safe. However, of all those things I just listed off, I don't know how you sit down with the owner of a franchise and say, it'll
be fine. You're just like chugging a glass of whiskey, like it's fine. We're all fine. There's just a building burning behind you. It's that meme. That's all it is. Yeah, there's just a little.
I just don't know how you walk in there, and here's the thing: Shane Bowen got his slack a year or 2 ago, or whatever it was, and our defense put up 9 sacks in the divisional round. Obviously, we didn't win the game, but at the end of the day, we got to get wins, and I don't know that I trust for the first line of issues or whatever we want to unpack that Todd Downing is the guy. My thought really, if Tim Kelly was brought in, there's obviously a reason. If a change is made, give him the job. And if 23 is the year that you just say, look, Malik, we're going forward. You're the guy now. You're freeing up, $14.8 million if the Titans release Lawan. Tannehill, I think, could be out. That could be,
I think, right? Something like that.
Tannehill will be a good chunk of change. But you got to think, if there is a soft rebuild and you're freeing up a bunch of the older players that are going to give you a bunch of cap money back, go get some guys that you can put in for. But you don't want to put yourself in a position, from my perspective, that you just burn up a dumpster fire every Sunday on TV and then nobody wants to come play for you.
Yeah, because that's the thing. And I do want to touch on Gavin here. So if you watched last night, and that's the thing, there's a reason Malik fell. He ain't ready this year.
He ain't ready. And
also, even if he kind of was, I don't want to put him behind that offensive line because I want to keep the asset. I want the asset to survive the year. I'll be honest with you. I would rather, if you're a Titans fan, I think I would rather suck with Tannehill for a little while and not hurt your potential future quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. if he had a healthy line and it was just bad Tannehill, I'd say go for it. But to be honest with you, you've sunk a lot of money into Tannehill, and if it's going to be bad, this may sound brutal, but I just think it's brutally honest. Is if you're going to suck and you're going to have somebody take an ass whipping, it better be the guy you're paying hundreds of millions of dollars to. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think too, I don't know that people would be willing to trade for Tannehill for the sake of him being free after this year. But if you can get him out there, he stays healthy and he puts up some numbers and everybody can see, hey, this team, the quarterback is not the biggest issue. I'm sure there's some teams out there like Seattle, a lot of question marks elsewhere as well. Just saying, what could we get? Even if it was a late round pick, I'm just not that we're selling the farm yet, but I don't think that Malik is the guy yet. He's fun to watch, but it was noted. Passes were behind, overthrown. There's a reason that they just ran the ball and kind of continued to get that, the offense with him going. Just please make this end. Try to get out. As far as injuries, we've talked about Lawan. Bud Dupree went out. It's a concern because the more that I thought about it last night, the more I realized this team is getting really old in certain spots. And I don't know that the depth is there. It just feels like that dam. You plug one hole and the other one starts going, then you're putting all, everything you can find to try and stop the bleeding. And it's like, guys, we can fight and claw, but we might be going up a hill and pushing that rock up that we can't stop it rolling back on us.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy of that. It's the dam is a really good way to put it because you're flowing smooth the last 2 years, man. You look at it from a fan perspective, you get pretty excited for every week. No matter what, you felt in it. But that was last night's game was one of those outside of that, because even after that first drive, there was something I was like, we'll keep, the Titans will keep it close. They'll keep it close, but they won't win. I never had that feeling. And you know what? I think that was the biggest part was when me and Brandon were talking about it last night. The Titans aren't even doing the cool little things of like playing good, weird winning football, because just making small plays or having the perfect, screen pass go for 75 or just making every good tackle, just, form tackles, just simple stuff that just over and over, just kill you with repetition, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And death by 1,000 paper cuts in a lot of ways it seems right, because it's just everything. You're not going to just screw up. You're not going to have all these bad plays. You're not going to have all, but it just kept looking like, oh, good God, Stephon Diggs, man.
Yeah, I was actually, he's a freak. And somebody was commenting on how Vrabel didn't necessarily love what Burks did. And it's like, what is there to like that Burks did? Like you mentioned earlier, the stats weren't there, but he shows the ability. But I'm saying, I want a guy that we thought we had in AJ Brown. Maybe Burks is the guy because he's hella talented. But I want a guy out there who can put up the Diggs types numbers. Now, we're not that offense. We don't have the Josh Allen. But it is what it is. I will say this too. I want to bring up Kevin's other comment about Malik here. But they put a graphic up last night about how, what was it? Baker Mayfield, Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson was in there, and one other quarterback. But of those situations that those guys were going, the teams they were playing for, the Browns, the Panthers, obviously the Ravens have had some luck and they're negotiating with Lamar. But how much of these organizations' stability and what they're able to do for these players provides them the opportunity to have success? And do I think it would be a great decision for the organization to throw Malik out there like they have with Locker and Mariota? Obviously, Malik is the first guy that John Robinson's drafted, and I'm sure he is the belle of the ball right now as far as what his development and progress and everything is as far as the Titans. So no, I don't think the idea of just throwing him out there, baptizing him with fire, is that could actually lead to negative habits for a quarterback. Where I saw an actual I wish I had the video prepared for it, but I saw a shot of where you could see along the kind of the line of scrimmage on the Titan side, you could see Malik standing on the sideline and going through motions with his hands and his motion step even as the pre-snap was happening, and then it fired off. So it's like he's mentally going through things repetition wise, but there's nothing like getting out there under the lights and just freaking slinging it, which he's fun to do, but he's not playing like you mentioned. There's a reason he fell, and he's very raw right now. So the more time with him and obviously Tannehill and being able to learn, in my opinion, the better. So
yeah,
I just want to kind of put that to bed. Let's shout out our guy here, Corey Lester. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. I did want to make mention in case you're watching live here. Sorry to take that comment down if it was pinned on Facebook. But if you in case you're new to us, Chat 10 Sports, we're based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're talking all things Tennessee sports and everything in between. We are reacting to the Titans' 41-7 loss last night, Monday Night Football on ESPN. Where do we go from here? I feel we obviously are going to preview the Raiders coming up here, and I don't think we have to bleed this thing dry as far as Titans because we can move to some Vols, maybe cut it short tonight. But I don't know what you can really glean that we haven't already discussed or heard today in this Titans fan base community of just like, look, we got to reshuffle the deck and move on quick. But any other thoughts on the Titans Bills before we move on with maybe some more NFL talk?
I think the biggest thing last night that I took away was two things. The Bills were as advertised preseason, and so are the Titans. As many people in the national media that want to give a lot of haterade towards the Titans, everything they're doing is right. They can't block. Derrick Henry's not getting off into the secondary. Ryan Tannehill's not playing well. The receivers aren't very good. And it's everything they hoped, honestly, if you're a national media guy. The Bills are great. The Titans are pretty bad. The AFC South's pretty bad. Actually, they're really bad. And it's this weird notion that's kind of carried true. And I feel like this Titans team is a little bit done of proving people wrong over and over again. And it kind of sucks.
I did want to make a mention of this as we move kind of more towards NFL general conversations. Obviously, and this is a weird thing too, Chase, of you look at the NFL, you can look at the standings right now, and a lot of the teams that we thought would be at the top of standings are not at the top of the standings, including our beautiful Tennessee Titans. Let me ask you this before we open up our kind of our fun topic for the NFL segment here. What's the biggest surprise to you as far as this team is really, really bad? And I think everybody may have the same answer. But again, if you're watching with this, comment, tell us what you think. What has been the biggest surprise as far as these teams that are bad right now, or even 0-2 like the Titans?
I'm a little surprised by the Raiders, to be honest with you. Kyler Murray played a great second half. That's probably my biggest one because, I mean, when you watch week one, and every year we all do it, week one, it's kind of hard to take away some things because look at it last year. The Cardinals beat the holy hell out of the Titans, and then Titans wound up being the number one seed. And an even better point, Steven, Joe Burrow. That dude he is on his ass every other play, it feels like.
Yeah.
There's just some weird 0-2 teams, and there's some weird 2-0 teams. And I'm just so surprised that, well, there's weird 1-1 teams and weird teams that have won. And, you know, the Dolphins look great yesterday in the second half. That was one of the, I'm going to say fourth quarter. That was one of the funnest games I've ever watched as far as the comeback goes. All the speed in the world. But in general, some of these 0-2 teams, everything people questioned is right. Like the top 7 for the Oakland, or not the Oakland Raiders, for the Las Vegas Raiders is incredible. But after that, not great. Yeah, that's my honestly, that's the biggest one. It's probably the Raiders, to be honest. I mean, Titans, I'm surprised they lost to the Giants, but talent-wise, you know, you look at the top and it's like, it's not quite the Raiders because Derek Carr, new system. Oh, it's going to be great under Daniels. It's going to be so sick. Devontae Adams, bros, they almost died in a whitewater rafting trip. It's going to be awesome. And then the downfall of us all.
Yeah. I did want to shout out Corey Lester here saying, can we skip to the Vols because my heart can't take anymore with it?
No, bro. Take this heartbeat and turn on some James Blunt music and let it ride, my friend. You're going to be taking a bubble bath in sorrow tonight.
I will say, though, my biggest surprise is by far the Bengals. This offseason with Leo Collins coming in from Dallas, they focus so heavily on that offensive
bodyguard.
yeah, there's a new guy in town. It's like, wow. But like you mentioned, I mean, and Steven saying that if Burrow gets injured this year, that's where I'm sitting here thinking of control the things that you can control for the Titans. Don't overextend anybody. But my concern, I guess my surprise is mostly with the Bengals. But I haven't seen enough of the Raiders to really throw them in as a contender or whatnot. But let's move to this question. Speaking of the surprises, obviously the Dolphins were in there as well. But give us your top 3 saddest and happiest fan bases from the weekend. Are we talking specifically NFL, or are we just talking wide open?
Ooh, what do you want to do? I'm kind of game for either.
We could probably touch both for SEC and or for college football, and then but right now NFL.
Okay, for NFL, saddest fan base.
Oh God.
Ooh, the Titans could be up there, but I think it's the other Monday night loss. I think the Vikings legit thought this was like, you beat the Packers game. I mean, you shut them down.
Yeah.
You get Aaron Rodgers. You got him. You are now the pretty heavy favorites to win the division. You're going into Monday night. Kirk Cousins is going to finally prove he doesn't suck on live TV on prime time. And you know what he does? He sucks on live TV, prime time, and the Vikings fans are heartbroken. I got a couple Vikings fans in my life, and it just wasn't great. It was just a sad night for all of us. And I think the number one would probably be the Minnesota Vikings. Do you want to go back and forth? Do you want to go 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, if I'm going number one,
okay.
I'm not going to say the Titans. I feel like that would just be too easy. I'm going to say the Broncos right now, man. I think the Broncos country, let's ride, Russell Wilson throwing it up and throwing it out. Yeah, Gavin Jones coming in here. Broncos hands down, then Bengals and Vikings. I think you're right as far as the saddest because
you had so much excitement if you're Denver.
Broncos country. Let's ride. I mean,
God, he's such a cheese ball, dude. He's such a cheese ball.
But my thing, it's funny. I saw I think it was week 1 presser for him. He almost said "Go Hawks" at the end of his Broncos conference press conference.
Bruh.
But no, I think they're probably number one for me. I feel like that organization going back to like Brock Osweiler, you go through Drew Lock. They've had that not Browns level quarterback carousel, but not something that you want to write home since Peyton Manning retired. But now they have Russell Wilson, and it's still not going to bed. But who's your number 2 as far as the saddest fan base from this weekend?
Ooh, saddest fan base. Second one.
Hold on, Chase.
Oh, who we got?
Broncos country. Let's ride. Had to get that Nick Cage hair flip.
Can we get you? I want to get you up here behind the green screen and doing that like he did. Just what? Do you have like an old football uniform we could rock?
No, but I can use this as my R2D2 as a
yes.
His awkward hands the whole time. Yeah,
I'll
dress up.
Let's ride.
Chattanooga. Chatting sports. Let's go. No, let's move on here. Give me your number 2. Give me your number 2 saddest fan base from this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna hate to stay chalk here, but I mean the Bengals is pretty bad, dude. I mean, you are expecting to not be the team that that lost in the Super Bowl that turns around and sucks in the next year. That is so heartbreaking to be Joe Burrow and that team because you're like, they're going to be fantasy monsters. Mm-hmm. They're going to put up so many stats. They got better on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Let's get the 4th best guy on the team. Cool. Yeah. And so it's one of those deals where you're like, all right, this team, I'm a Bengals fan. I'm going to dominate out of the gate. We're going to be so hot. Redemption year. Joe Burrow is going to be awesome. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. You are loaded. You have Joe Mixon coming off his best year yet.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are, 0-2 and scored 1 touchdown.
And I don't know if the NFL flew over some type of Bermuda Triangle or something like that just to explain. These are teams that should be, I mean, even the Colts. I mean, the Colts were in conversations as far as obviously competing for the South, but to have tied with the Texans or what tied with the Texans, lost to the Jags. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm going to say this about the Colts. I'm about to throw another number 3, but here we go. Honorable mention, the national media Colts fans. That's who it is.
Let's name a name. I'll throw this name in here. Dan Orlovsky can't get off his knees when it comes to the Colts, and I mean that playfully. But it's one of those things like last year, this year. It's like, Dan, you can't explain. You're like dying on the hill just for the sake of being right in your mentions because the team. I mean that Week 17 loss to the Jags last year. And then to come back in the offseason and say they're going to do it again. What? Now, I get like a loss like that can motivate a team to come back out of the gate, but not when you have Matt Ryan. And not that we can say a ton as Titans fans that our quarterbacks.
I know our team sucks right now. I get it.
We know how to take our lumps because we did it for a really long time. But yeah, they come to my mind for sure. And I think we've kind of talked as far as the Vikings and other teams that would be down there. Give me your happiest fan base, which I think unanimously, I think we'll all be on the same page here. We should, in my opinion. Don't you blow this, Chase. Tell us what you think in the comments.
I thought this weekend was really weird because there's a couple like really happy fan bases right now.
I just want to see if we can get the first one right because there's one distinct reason why I think that they take the cake. But let me know what you think, and we'll keep it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's three, but I'm not sure who you're gonna go with. I'm gonna say Philly.
Okay.
I think Philly's the happiest, and then go ahead. You go number one. I think Philly last night. You're looking across, and here's why. I think Philly looked across and was like, "Oh, we've got the other Josh Allen on ABC. If you want to tune over." And now, I thought that defense. I went and watched some of this Minnesota game afterwards. That defense wasn't too good.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins was giving you guys the ball in plenty of good spots. And I'll tell you, Hurts looked great, and he's got AJ. He's got receivers. I get it. He's got a decent little running game. But I don't know if that's going to be a whole season top deal.
Yeah.
We'll see. Who's your number one?
This is where I think we were different, but I think the Miami Dolphins probably are the happiest.
That's what I would have guessed.
And here's why. They're right now, technically, and it's week 2, I get it. They're technically in first place in their division. But to come back, the Patriots, and I'm going to say this, man, I'm going to go on a hill for the Dolphins fans out there. The Patriots are not a bad team. Patriots are what are they? They're still evolving in the post Tom Brady era. But the Ravens too. I mean, 42-38, like close win, but to come back on the way that they did. Mike Daniels, I feel like he is a guy that in a year, maybe this season, maybe next year, could be in that conversation if things continue to have success and go well, that he could be in the conversation for Coach of the Year at some point, just being was he a McVay or is he a LaFleur disciple? I think he's McVay. No, I'm sorry. San Francisco with Shanahan.
Yeah, he's Shanahan, but I guess is Shanahan a tree of McVay? I can't remember how that works.
I think he touches, but I think he's more of his dad. But
yeah,
who knows? But all that to say, I think
that sounded a little weird. Touch his daddy.
He comes from his father's coaching tree.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see here. Yeah, Philadelphia and Jacksonville. I think,
dude, the Jags right now. Oh my gosh!
I do have a friend of mine that she lives in Duval County. Actually, she's a teacher down there. We were messaging, just talking some smack, and good for them, man. I mean, I will say, as much as we've had success in the last 5-6 years, maybe a little bit more, we got our teeth kicked in. And here's my honest thought: we can probably close out NFL and Titans, maybe touch some touch on the Vols a little bit as far as the topic goes. But we've been here before. We've lost to really bad teams and we shouldn't have. And to last night, the Titans lost to a really damn good team. So it's like, I think that's where Vrabel today is like, look, we're moving on as fast as we can because that was so bad. Worst loss in the Vrabel era, which is to be noted for sure. But it's the Bills, and that's where I like the rivalry that's cooking up with the Titans and the Bills. But any last thoughts as far as Titans or NFL before we kind of preview or not? I guess react to the Vols for this last weekend.
No, man, it was a freaking blast to watch though this weekend outside the Monday night games. Good stuff. Now, you know what? I'll say outside of the Sunday and Monday night games because the Sunday night game was pretty much dominant. But it's good. Aaron Rodgers got his W back. Still in Chicago. It's always impressive. But there's a lot of last thing I'll say, there is so much talent in this NFL right now. I mean, say what you want about Tua, but when you've got two guys that have that kind of yak ability, it's incredible, dog. Like Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Gesicki making a beautiful touchdown catch. Dude,
wait. His gritty.
It's gritty.
Give me a gritty on the Gesicki gritty. Or sorry, give me a grade on Mike Gesicki's gritty.
Oh. I love the effort. It's so bad. It's probably I'm gonna barely squeak him in at a C- because I love the effort and the excitement. But like it's so bad. I was like, dude, come on.
Yeah. He was passing, but he wasn't passing by much. I'll say that.
That was like I'm being the teacher that's like, I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah. Give him a curve assignment. And help
him
get
I curved that one bad because the effort.
All right. Well, good week for the NFL. Obviously, the Titans have a lot to get back to the drawing board, move some things around. But for the Vols, big win as we all anticipated with the Akron Zips. I did want to ask you some things with Joe Milton. Obviously has incredible arm talent. Are there people like making rumblings of the idea of Hendon Hooker being benched, or like they want what's the conversation there?
The conversation is for next year.
Okay.
I think now it is more of a we've got Nico coming in, your highest recruit in God knows how long. And then you look at Milton, who's finally put a little touch on these passes, granted against some second teams, that's fine. Still, if he makes these throws, there's going to be guys that get open. And with him, you're looking at it in the way of, maybe we can put Nico back for a year and preserve him, get a little meat on his bones, and do the typical like, hey, buddy, we're going to love you 2024, but in 2023, learn as much as you can, work out like an animal, and get ready for SEC football. It's a long ways away from Hawaii, long ways away from Cali. So do your thing, and we'll let Milton do his thing and have a year. And I think that's the conversation for Joe is he's making a real case, and that's why he stayed. A, to be a really good friend to Hendon. That's his best friend. Be a leader. And two, I mean, I'll say this.
It's a great line. The illegitimate son of Peyton.
Yeah. Harrison was nowhere near the caliber of Nico. Yeah. I mean, Nico is a true 5-star and is the number 2 or 3 guy in the class, I think. So, yeah, Nico's a little different. Harrison Bailey has all these stats, and we hoped, but where's he at now? He's like UNLV or something like that. I didn't think he's starting, but
yeah, Harrison Bailey. I haven't heard his name in a long time, but I agree with you can't sit here and take the hype away from Nico because other recruits didn't pan out for the Vols. But I'm thinking, I agree with what you, but the NIL deal for me, as far as the amount of money that would be shelled out to Nico, if they set him for a year, that's where I feel like these teams are going to start looking at players like, hey, we got to start milking this guy and making even now it's crazy for me to see shirts with, certain players, just names and numbers. It's like that they're selling that merch just for themselves, which more power to them. But it does kind of change the game of how do you redshirt Nico? Like that's a great conversation to have. But that's where I feel like sometimes Vols fans are like, hey, we're 2-0. Are we really talking about next year already? Like, let's beat Florida like we think we should. But yeah, I mean, interesting something that came up for me. And I didn't know what the actual debate conversation was or what the context was.
Yeah, and to put into context, exactly like you just said, those were Vol fans that gave Khalil McKenzie this read up. I mean, throughout the country, people thought he was going to be really good, but nobody gave him this Reggie White status outside of people and the Go Balls forums and stuff like that. It's a different category. I love this fan base, but also there can be a incredible amount of idiots. It's
no
tough.
doubt.
It's tough, man.
Same thing with Harrison Bailey too. I mean, we were desperate in the thick of that was pretty early on in the Pruitt era.
Yeah.
Of like, we need this guy to come here, get Eric Gilbert, Gilbert to come with him. We need everything we can to make this thing work. And in reality, I mean, obviously it didn't work out, but that's where I feel Heupel is going to make those right decisions of how to handle those guys, especially playing the position at quarterback. But obviously having the mind that he does. So feel pretty comfortable there. But did anything particular for you? I mean, I know we're kind of wrapping up time here. As far as the Zips game, as far as Akron, anything that you liked or didn't like or anything crazy? I just feel like it was as anticipated, and obviously Nealon looked incredible night game. So good atmosphere
sold
there.
out for the Akron Zips, bro. That's awesome. That's a good fan base. As crazy as they may be, they're loyal.
Yeah.
Really liked the speed. Really liked the home run hits. Everything looked good on offense for the most part. Really think we've got some in the freshman Sampson running back. Really think we've got a good thing with Sampson. I think that the Zips were going low. I didn't love that, but on that low, some of those low hits will come from the option. If that's the speed option is a part of this game, and that's something Sampson's comfortable with, and that's something that these guys, it is going to be special because that adds another wrinkle to this offense that you're like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
How are we going to stop these guys? On the defensive side of the ball, I didn't love some of the secondary stuff. These receivers just dropped it. Their quarterback was really solid. And I know throughout the broadcast, they kept mentioning, they're like, transfer portal, this guy's going to be it. I'm just totally blanking on his name. But anyways, he was really good. He was really accurate. And then he just had some bad receivers, 2 or 3 touchdown drops. I mean, it was just bad drops. Put some dimes in there. I didn't love what I saw from the secondary, but next week, and I know we're going to get in more to it on Thursday, but they're going to have to get after Richardson. They're going to have to get after him because that's the big thing is at week 1, I've reiterated this over the radio and I've reiterated this on this podcast. If he were just tackled a few times by Utah, this Heisman stuff's not going to float. Like he should have been tackled on that weird pump fake that he got. He rolled out, he scored. It was awesome. It was cool. Great looking play. And he's a super mobile athlete. He's got a hell of an arm, but he ain't that wonderful. South Florida is not very good.
Yeah.
And they squeaked out by the grace of God on that terrible snap. That was it. You got anything? Wrap it up?
No. Yeah, I think we're wrapping up here as far as I know. I want to throw Steven's comment up here. The Gator Hate Week is the best. I won't give it all away since we're going to preview it Thursday. But, yeah, make sure and come back with us in case you're watching with us right now or if you listen after the fact. Thursday this week, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, p.m. for anybody that needs the clarification there. But, yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I think there was, a couple of those options play. What was it, Jabari Small or was it Hooker that just got destroyed where I'm like, hey, timeout because
that was Hooker on that. Yeah.
Somebody came downhill and got him good. I like the option, and it seems pretty effective against Akron. But I do want to see, obviously, with Florida coming in 3:30 game CBS, I want to see Heupel kind of start turning up the creativity as far as what they're putting out offensively and what they're capable of doing. But I think everything there, I'm good. Hey, can I tell you a quick story about my betting weekend?
Yes. I was waiting for it.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know if anyone else does this, but basically, I just lit a bunch of money on fire. Had one good solid win, which the Jags over the Colts, I think, was a lock. But last night, was kind of sitting there thinking the Titans are going to do what the Titans do and go to Buffalo and either compete, squeeze out a win, and they're going to do it where Tannehill's going to get a couple, maybe a touchdown, rushing touchdown. Maybe Hooper gets involved since he wasn't week 1, and Burks will continue to do what Burks has done. So I put an anytime parlay for touchdowns on Tannehill. And for all those watching that don't know or listening that don't know, a quarterback for an anytime has to be a rushing touchdown, correct? Is that just a flat line rule? So Hooper, I had him for an anytime touchdown and Burks. So the more that I'm like, give me a quick little boot roll from Tanny, give me a quick little Hooper, Jack Doyle style, fall over the goal line, touchdown, and give me a Burks. I'm like, we're going to win almost $3,000. I put like $15 down. And no, obviously the Titans just dump in their pants and don't know what to do. There was really a time last night where it's like, I don't think the Titans know where to start to fix this right now. And then they just took all the starters out and said, let's go home. So horrible betting weekend. I did have a few wins, but overall just bled money. And so I'm going to probably lick my wounds for next week. But I know several people, bigger names in our Titans community, whom I will not mention, that put out some picks and are just getting roasted this week for it. But that's my story. How was your betting weekend?
You boys done well. You
Good.
boys done really well the last 2 or 3 weeks. We are now 9-8 in college football. I just do some picks every Saturday morning from the sauna. So follow me on Twitter at mcgreen423. We'll do sauna picks every Saturday. It's either gonna be 4 or 5. I don't know. I just throw out a random number, whatever I really like.
Whatever you want to do, baby.
Yeah. And it's been good. My NFL, I didn't do any. I don't think I did. I did. Yeah, I did. The only one I went was I put good money on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
I also did, which love this from DraftKings. I also put money line on the Chargers last Thursday, but the kicker is if they go up by 10 points or more, you get an early payout. So they don't even have to win the game. They just have to go up by 10, and they started out 10-0. So I get that payout without them actually winning. It's fantastic. So got that one a good start.
DraftKings or FanDuel?
DraftKings.
No, dude.
And then Friday night, I put a couple different little boosts. Put about $50-$60 on I split that up. But yeah, think of it 30 and 30. 30 with the spread -2.5 for Florida State, and then I hit the double up on the money line because I had a boost. So I put that one up. So we had a good chunk of change on Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday, solid day, won a little bit just off, about split, but not bad. Not a bad day, over 50%. And then Sunday, took the Jags, missed on the Pittsburgh Steelers, but then
almost had that one though.
Yeah, man, I was really rooting for it. And then got a couple. Oh, my best one. I've never done a round robin. I've heard about these round robins the whole time. And so basically it is a combination. It's a weird roulette basically of you pick 4 people. I picked Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. Sure. I picked Nick Chubb anytime touchdown. DeAndre Swift anytime touchdown, and Cordell Patterson. Okay. And I did a round robin on 2 and 3. So basically put up $50 and won like 300 something bucks. But how that works is you only have to get 2 up. Like if you do a double up, if you get 2 of those 4, it kind of wins that. It just parlays them all together, so you don't have to keep putting in different parlays. So I hit on 2 or 3 of those. So I didn't make all $300 back, but you win a couple hundred or $100. Not bad. Pretty good weekend. And then last night I did something before the game. I'm not proud of it, but I just felt like it was going to happen. I had a bad feeling. I was like, we're going to get our ass kicked. And what's going to happen is the Bills are going to score over 30. And I'm going to same game parlay that with a Ryan Tannehill interception, and bingo bango, $100 later.
Check.
Yeah.
Payday.
Yeah.
Hey, I will say though, I've made some of my best money off the Titans, positives and negatives. So
same.
No, all is fair in love and war. If we're being straight when it comes to our betting, but
yeah.
But yeah, let's put a bow on this puppy. In case you're new to us, check us out, chat10.com. More info right here. Screenshot that QR code, tap on it. It will take you to our link tree. Find us everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Make sure and follow us on YouTube. You can actually set notifications for when we go live, and it will tell you on your phone. Love having the comments. Appreciate the interaction. Obviously, Thursday is going to be a big game for the Titans. Where are we going from here? We're going to find out. We'll get an answer on Sunday, and obviously Saturday 3:30, Tennessee Gators. I don't know if it's going to be very competitive. I hope that they lay it on thick. Right now, we're looking at a plus. Let's see, 10.5 spread for the Vols, obviously, but a lot of folks I know are saying Vols big. So, in case we don't see you between now and Saturday, we hope you have a great rest of your week. But check back with us Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Standard PM.
Well, come back 8:30 Eastern.
Appreciate you, man. Am I breaking up?
You did for a second. You're back.
Okay. I love you, buddy. I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you guys. Peace out.
Have a great night, y'all. See you.